Is twin flame union guaranteed? This is the question I get asked probably more than any other one. And I think it's usually when people get kind of out on the limb and they're like, all right, I just want to cut to the chase here because we've been talking about twin flame for such a long time. And the thing is that we are in the reality of twin flames coming into union. Previously in the 20th century and previous to that, twin flames might not have incarnated at the same time. One was in the hereafter and one was on the planet. All right, so we had a lot of that going on. There was a lot of spiritual connection, but can't see them. Okay, they're not in this 3D plane. And because we're in this ascended plane, it doesn't mean that your twin flame isn't here. It just means that you are able to perceive things that are giving you connections to that twin flame beyond what people in the past might have been able to do. So what I'm going to tell you today is kind of the formula, because now we are in ascension. We are in this time period where the evolution of the human experience is moving from Newtonian physics to quantum physics. Okay, we're actively moving from experiencing the world in our five senses to experiencing the world because we're creating the world first and then it's showing up, right? This is the big shift here. And so when we talk a lot about the 3D, is twin flame going to be experienced in a 3D way? And I talk about 5D and everyone goes, oh God, not 5D again, because they're still living in Newtonian physics and not in quantum physics, okay? And so I want to say to you that yes, in this experience, in this time, in this shift into the age of Aquarius, twin flame union is guaranteed. Would you like to know the formula? Because I will give you the formula, okay? So let's talk about it. There's 5 things I'm going to outline here for you about twin flame union, getting to twin flame union. Don't just gloss over this whole Newtonian versus quantum thing, because this is the foundation of manifesting as well. So if you can understand that if you're manifesting twin flame union, you're really needing to be in quantum physics. I have a good friend who wrote a book asking you if you are quantum living. And so I'll put that link in the description box. But I met Diane Collins, I don't know, I guess this was maybe in 2009, 2010. Do you quantum think? Diane Collins, she's a good friend and she's written this great book. She's very interesting. I'll have to have her on my podcast, which you'll learn about pretty soon. But anyway, I want to give you the formula about this, because essentially what you're doing is, if you are living in Newtonian physics, the mindset, the prism, the paradigm of Newtonian physics, you're effectively living in the past, okay? And so you're only creating your reality from past experience, which is kind of like either dragging you back or holding you in place. It's certainly not taking you forward. Quantum is about not having to have the movie out here playing what you expect to then be happy. It's about the realization that thoughts create things, right? We talk a lot about manifesting on this channel. So your thoughts, the emotions that are behind them, that's, a good thought, an intelligent thought, a clear intention and thought with some emotion behind it, some positive emotion behind it, experiencing that's what's drawing things to you. So I go down this little bit of a rabbit hole to help you understand about what creates twin flame union. What is it that's going to bring us into union? We do readings all the time about what is or what's going on, but let's shift the reality into more of a quantum space so that we can create this reality and experience twin flame union and draw that to us, instead of it being like, I wonder if it's showing up. Like, let's not do that anymore, okay? So I'm going to give you the formula here. My twin flame union happened a long time ago, happened in 2009, And, you know, I have been talking quite a bit on this channel about the experience of internal union, masculine and feminine balance. That is a big deal. That is an indicator that twin flame union is coming. But really, to get there, let's figure out how to get there, shall we? Okay. So number one, these things must, well, before we get to number one, these things, all of these 5 things must be in place before union can happen. Okay. What will happen is if you have physical union that's in this kind of like old way, then it's just going to bounce off. So some of you have experienced that. We've talked a lot about this, and we've talked a lot about, wow, like trying to catch lightning in a bottle once that happens. But there's also this feeling of still in the old paradigm, trying to create an old paradigm relationship. Okay, when really twin flame is about a quantum experience. It's about a soul, it's about spiritual development. It's about soul creation. Okay, so number one, there has been soul recognition of your spiritual path. So basically that just means you've awakened. Okay, you've awakened, you understand you're a spiritual being living in this physical existence, and that you are learning here, you're here understanding what it is to be a soul and how you progress, how you gain entry into the ascension path, and all of those things. Like, you get that. All of those are not just words to you. Those are experiences that you've had. And part of that is, once that happens, which is why that full moon in Scorpio was such a big deal, because I feel like it pinged a lot of twin flames that maybe weren't on the spiritual path yet, which will lead me to number 2 in a second. But what does it mean to be in soul recognition and awakened on the path? It means that you see your shadow. It means that you're aware of these elements that are holding you back. You're aware of the 3D, the difference between Newtonian and quantum. You're kind of getting this awareness. You're searching for information. You're interested in your spiritual development, which is what led you to tarot and led you to astrology and numerology and other things, because you're experiencing the world a little differently. And that moment of awakening isn't the end, it's just the beginning. All right, so this soul recognition of, oh, wow, that's the thing leading the charge. Okay, I get it, right? I'm going to be doing that. Now, we talk a lot about this on Pathfinders. If you guys have questions about any of these things I'm talking about, Pathfinders, we do an hour-long Q&A every single week. That is the place if you have questions about this or want to understand this better for yourself. So you can draw twin flame union, not just twin flame union, but you can draw your quantum self out of hiding. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. Number 2 is both twins are awakened spiritually. Both twins have to have this experience of soul recognition that, yes, we're on the path. And, you know, if one of the twins is really resistant, a lot of times if you do have the chance to have, you know, when we think of union, I think people think of that as sex. Okay, and okay, fair enough. That's just like such a basement layer kind of experience. And if you're thinking that that's like the peak experience, it's really not. It's the entryway. It's the entryway. So number 2 is both twins are awakened spiritually. You both have to see your flaws. You both have to, this is typically when the runner-chaser piece happens. And usually one twin's awakened and they kind of go toward the other twin. The other twin is like, nope, not into it. I don't know what you're talking about with all this quantum nonsense. And I don't know, I'm much more of a realist and everything like that. So they're giving you the sense that they're creating their reality, that they don't know how to create their reality yet. They're not in this learning curve that you are. And so you're like, okay, maybe they understand prayer. Maybe they understand, you know, how to, you know, work with, or they've heard something about The Secret. They've heard something about manifestation. They've heard something about this, but they're really not like consistently putting it into play. And even those of us who have been working on this for a long time learn new things every day. That's why this channel exists, right? We learn new things every day. So we're trying to incorporate these things. So number 2 is both twins are awakened spiritually. Number 3 is that there has been separation. So it feels to me like what my experience has been, and I'll just, share with you the culmination of what I have learned from the hundreds of twin flames and twin flame connections. And I am working on the astrology of twin flames. As you well know, a lot of you have sent me your charts. I appreciate that. And this is a kind of a painstaking thing. So I appreciate your patience on that effort. But once one of the twins comes awake and they go toward the other twin, and there's physical interaction, there may be a runner-chaser experience, and one of them just kind of goes, enough, right? There's separation. And again, I talk about this quite a bit, that separation is really the Newtonian experience of twin flames and not the quantum experience of twin flames. Newtonian is 3D, quantum is 5D, okay? So both twins are awakened spiritually. There has been a separation. This is number 3. There has been a separation, or there is a separation between 1 and 20 years. Wouldn't you like to know how to make it go faster? Okay? Put what I'm saying into play. Number 1, there is soul recognition. We see our fears. We see our shadow. We're working. We're doing healing work. We're all of that. Both twins are doing this. Like in number 2, both twins are awakened spiritually. They come together. There's some kind of separation, all right, between 1 and 20 years. And that is like the place where most people are. I think we get to that number 3 place of getting into separation, and the rest of our lives, or the rest of the time, we're trying to get back to the 3D. We're trying to get back to that. But number 4 is surrender. We surrender to the universe. We surrender to the connection. We realize that we are chasing something when we're in that place of it's in separation, right? We realize that that's the energy of separation. When we're saying they're not with me, we're saying there's separation, okay? And so what you're doing is you're putting some energy behind that. You're putting some feeling behind that. You're like, why does this have to be like this, right? You're like, that's what's creating more separation, okay? So number 4 is about surrendering to this connection. That just because someone doesn't exist in my 3D Newtonian, I have to see them with my 5 senses experience, doesn't mean that we are not connected, because we are, okay? I made a video called What Kind of Twin Flame Am I? Here's a link to that. What type of twin flame am I? You might be interested in that. And so the both of you eventually shift in to trusting the universe and realizing that there is a timetable in a quantum kind of way. It's based on the energy of feeling, the energy of manifestation, the energy of you're creating your life, the energy of being cool with the fact that we are always in connection. It's kind of a rejection of this Newtonian experience of I have to live my life through my 5 senses. And so they both come to the place of like, surrender. Like the universe is going to do what it's going to do, and I am going to live in this quantum experience where I'm creating my own reality. I am working through all of my shadow. I am seeing the lessons that are coming in, and I am working with it. I'm surfing with it. I talk about this in astrology a lot, is that astrology, when you ascend, when you get higher into these realms of energetic manifestation, you're no longer seeing like, oh, my Chiron is keeping me down. It's like, cool, I see the Chiron, I'm going to surf it, right? That's why we did the past life regression around Chiron, so that you can see the karma that was created, so you can balance it out in this life. You can do the healing work that makes the most impact, okay? All right. If you want that Chiron, I'll drop a link below. Now, that's number 4. They have surrendered to the connection. We understand the difference between Newtonian and quantum. We get that whole thing. And number 5 is that once you kind of come into the place of, okay, I am 100% surrendered to this process. Number 5 is you are in the process of resolving and healing all of these things. these things. So you might have seen it before in number one, when you're awakened and you see all your shadow and you see all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, there's so much to do. But number 5, once you surrender to it, you're like, okay, I'm going to work through each of these things so that I am a whole being, which of course you are. You are the twin experience, whether you're a monadic twin flame, a split soul twin flame, or a hive twin flame. All of that is in that other video. Whatever you are in that, you recognize that the healing part is the part where you're manifesting your quantum being. Okay, you're manifesting, you're putting yourself in the best position to manifest an experience that you're wanting to create, which is being in union with this twin flame. And it really is about the internal masculine, feminine being integrated. And these are the ways to do that. So within number 5, they've resolved and they're healing all of these things, especially attachment, insecurity, lack of self-love, jealousy, toxic friendships, toxic families, the need for validation, ego, right? Ego, the fear of rejection, and past life trauma, karma. All of these need to be, sorry about that microphone, all of these need to be resolved. And if you look at that list, attachment, insecurity, lack of self-love, jealousy, toxic friendships, toxic families, need for validation, fear of rejection, past life trauma, karmic, plutonic kind of experiences, you recognize that by looking at your own relationship to the self, self-love is the answer to healing all of these things. It is experienced, lack of self-love is experienced through attachment. It's experienced through insecurity. It's experienced through the lack of the ability to hold jealousy back, right? Or resolve or disintegrate jealousy as a thing. Like it's not even a feeling, because jealousy means that there's a imbalance, right? So jealousy, toxic friendships, toxic families, need for validation, fear of rejection, past life trauma, karmic, plutonic. All of these things can be solved through the experience of self-love. How do you know you haven't done that? Do you have any of these? Attachment, insecurity, lack of, do you experience those on a daily basis? Have you worked through any of those? What has your shadow shown to you that you need to work through with all of those things? So this is why I talk about Chiron and, your wounded healer. That's a big indicator of the thing that is most blocking, right? Chiron is like the wounded, the child wound or the past life karmic wound that must be healed in order for you to attain another level of integration, of quantum. It's definitely part of that, and self-love can really work with that. But once you've healed yourself, no one can heal you but you, and you can by doing this kind of bring your twin to that same realization. Okay, you can bring yourself into that. They only are open or realize when it's their time to realize. You came awake at the time you came awake. You can't really force feed a twin to do any of these things. You could share with them this information, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be ready for it. Okay, it's like trying to convince someone that they need something when they really don't think they do. They're not going to be open to it. So if your twin's open to it, if they are awakened spiritually, if they are also in line with this checklist, then okay, these are the things I need to heal in myself, and you need to heal in yourself. But the goal is not, then the goal becomes self-love. And when that is achieved, there's kind of a detachment from, right? Attachment is the number one thing I'm talking about here. There is a detachment for the need to create union. That's Newtonian 3D experience. It's not quantum, because you are already connected to this person. You're already there. There's no need to be kind of in that place of, okay, how do I get them to do this? Because that will repel it. All right, that will definitely repel it. So you can take the short path or the long path. All right, you can take the short path, you know, jump into healing, do this awareness, release, and trust the universe, surrender to all of these things we talked about. Because once you've created true polarity, you know, true integration in yourself, then you have created a true polarity with this person. We are in the process of, in our ascension, we are balancing polarity. Everything we're doing is balancing polarity. Integration internally comes from working through this list, and integration with another person comes from a full inner union within the two. All right? So once this happens, you'll know, how do I know I'm healing? How do I know I'm even doing this? You'll know when you feel lighter, when your soul feels like it's released things, when you feel like you walk through the day protected, when you feel like you have experiences and they are no longer knocking you off your center. You're like, oh, all right, I see that. I got it. See it? Right? Like, that's the quantum experience. Newtonian is like, oh God, everything's happening to me. Right? Quantum is like, I'm creating this. And we'll do more about quantum. I'm going to be doing some workshops for myself in terms of my own learning, in terms of my own ascension, and I will share that information with you. If you'd like to join Pathfinders, there's a link below. We talk about this all the time. We do that live on Thursdays. I have a class around Chiron, past life healing. I have a lot of classes on my website about twin flames in terms of how to understand them from karmic or plutonic. That's another piece of this, is that, am I even talking to about the right person? You won't care when you truly get into integration. I think a lot of people get stuck because they believe that it's this one person, and so they're trying to make that work, trying to get this person to do something, right? It's not about try. What is it that Yoda says? There is no try. There is only do. That's what this is. All right. I hope that has been helpful for you today. If you have questions, please drop a comment to me. I'd love to see you in the Pathfinder Lives and help you answer questions for yourself to try to shift your awareness into a place where you're really attracting in twin flame union. So, much love today. I'll see you tomorrow.